Silent sentinels. The Nexus Collective had studied Earth for centuries. Their massive data repositories contained everything there was to know about the blue planet, or so they believed. Earth was classified as a Class 3 civilization, technologically advancing, but politically fractured, militarily competent, but strategically insignificant. The humans had barely established colonies on their neighboring planets. Their space force consisted of rudimentary vessels, and their planetary defenses were adequate at best. Commander Vrax of the Nexus Collective considered the conquest a formality. On May 17, 2276, the skies above Earth darkened as 3,000 Nexus warships emerged from subspace. Their hulls gleamed with an iridescent obsidian sheen that absorbed radar and light alike. The fleet arranged itself in a perfect geometric pattern around the planet, a display of technological precision meant to intimidate. Attention inhabitants of Earth, Vrax's message boomed across all communication channels globally. Your world has been selected for integration into the Nexus Collective. Your cooperation will determine the comfort of your transition. Resistance is, he paused for dramatic effect, inadvisable. At United Earth Defense Headquarters beneath Geneva, Admiral Alina Reyes watched the transmission with practiced calm. A veteran of the Mars conflicts, Reyes had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. As soon as the transmission ended, she turned to the assembled military leadership. "It's time," she said simply. "Initiate Protocol Poseidon." Thousands of kilometers away, in monitoring stations across all of Earth's oceans, operators received their authorization codes. Deep beneath the waves, where sunlight barely penetrated, something stirred. The Nexus invasion force deployed according to standard procedure. Scout vessels descended through the atmosphere to secure key strategic locations, major cities, military installations, power generation facilities. Commander Vrax expected the humans would attempt some resistance with their primitive orbital defense systems, or perhaps their nuclear arsenal. His tactical officers had planned for every contingency, except one. The first indication that something was wrong came when all Nexus scouts lost contact simultaneously. Then the oceanic sensors detected massive energy surges from Earth's seas. On his command ship, Vrax watched in disbelief as the holographic display showed thousands, no, hundreds of thousands, of objects rising from the depths. "What is this?" he demanded. His science officer frantically analyzed the incoming data. "Unknown vessels, Commander. They appear to be emerging from the oceans." The waters parted as sleek vessels rose into the air. Unlike conventional ships, these craft seemed to flow like liquid metal, their surfaces rippling with patterns reminiscent of ocean waves. They were smaller than the Nexus warships, but vastly more numerous. And they moved with perfect coordination, as if guided by a single mind. Admiral Reyes stood on the command deck of the UESS Leviathan, the flagship of humanity's hidden fleet. Around her, officers monitored systems that had been kept secret from most of Earth's own population. "All vessels reporting ready, Admiral," said her executive officer, Commander Jackson Chen. "The Kraken swarm is deployed. The Hydra and Scylla divisions are in position." Reyes nodded. "Open a channel to the alien command ship." On the Nexus flagship, Vrax received the incoming transmission with mounting concern. The human who appeared before him wore a uniform unlike any in their intelligence files. "This is Admiral Alina Reyes of the United Earth Deep Sea Fleet. You have entered protected space without authorization. You will withdraw immediately." Vrax recovered his composure quickly. "Admiral, your bravery is commendable, but misplaced. Our intelligence indicates your civilization possesses no meaningful defense against our forces. These vessels you've deployed cannot hope to match our technological superiority." Reyes smiled. "Your intelligence is outdated, Commander. While the powers of Earth argued and fought on the surface, we built something else entirely in the depths. We never intended to match your technology. We surpassed it decades ago." As if to punctuate her statement, the Leviathan fired the first shot. A pulse of blue-white energy lanced from its bow, striking the nearest Nexus warship. Instead of exploding, the warship simply unraveled, its molecular bonds dissolving as if it had never existed. Vrax stared in horror. "What manner of weapon is that?" "Quantum decoupler," Rise replied calmly. "It selectively disrupts molecular bonds. We reversed engineered it from a crashed scout ship of yours in the Marianas Trench 80 years ago." The revelation hit Vrax like a physical blow. A scout ship lost decades ago. The collective had assumed it destroyed in a navigational error. Instead, it had given the humans the foundation for technology that should have been centuries beyond their grasp. The battle, if it could be called that, was decisive. The human vessels moved with impossible agility, their hulls seemingly immune to Nexus energy weapons. They flowed around incoming fire like water itself, reforming instantly. For every human vessel disabled, 50 Nexus ships were lost. On the Leviathan, Admiral Rise watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The deep-sea fleet represented humanity's greatest achievement and its best-kept secret. For over a century, Earth's nations had maintained the illusion of division, while secretly pooling resources into Project Poseidon. The discovery of the crashed alien vessel had been the catalyst. From it, Earth's scientists had learned of the wider galactic community and the threats it posed. More importantly, they had gained insights into technology centuries beyond human development. But rather than simply copying alien designs, they had taken a different approach, developing technology that worked in harmony with Earth's unique environment. The deep-sea fleet's vessels weren't built, they were grown, using a revolutionary fusion of bioengineering and quantum mechanics. The oceans provided both camouflage and the vast resources needed to sustain the fleet. Geothermal vents powered the manufacturing processes, while deep-sea organisms inspired the ship's adaptive capabilities. As the battle continued, some Nexus vessels attempted to flee. Vrax, however, refused to retreat. His flagship, the Inexorable, launched a desperate counterattack, targeting the Leviathan directly. "Incoming concentrated fire," reported Commander Chen. "They're throwing everything at us." Reyes nodded calmly. "Activate the Aegis protocol." The Leviathan's hull rippled and then seemed to disappear altogether, the energy beams from the Nexus flagship passing harmlessly through where it had been. "Phase shift successful," Chen confirmed. "We're out of their targeting plane." The Inexorable, suddenly finding its target gone, was vulnerable. 3 smaller human vessels surrounded it, their weapons charging. Vrax knew defeat when he saw it. Open a channel to their flagship. Admiral Reyes appeared on his screen once more. "Ready to discuss terms, Commander." "How?" Vrax demanded. "How did a fractured species like yours create this?" Reyes's expression was solemn. "We used our greatest strength, the very division you perceived as weakness. Each nation, each culture contributed different perspectives, different approaches to the same problem. We competed, we collaborated, we created something greater than any single approach could have achieved." She leaned forward. "Now about those terms. You will withdraw your remaining forces. You will inform the Nexus Collective that Earth is not open for conquest. And you will carry a message. We have remained in our corner of the galaxy by choice, not limitation. That choice may now change." As the defeated Nexus ships retreated into subspace, Admiral Reyes gazed out at Earth's oceans, which had protected humanity's greatest secret for so long. The galaxy was about to discover that the waters of Earth ran deeper than anyone had imagined. Guardians of the Deep. The Galactic Council chamber on Axis Prime fell into stunned silence as Commander Vrax's report concluded. Holographic displays showed the destruction of nearly 80% of the Nexus Collective's invasion force. 3,000 elite warships reduced to scattered debris by a previously unknown human fleet. "These recordings must be falsified," declared Representative Moros of the Thexian Empire, his tendriled appendages trembling with indignation. "No Class 3 civilization could possess such technology." High Counselor Salinas, The ancient Arcturian, who had overseen the council for 3 centuries, raised a slender hand for silence. The verification codes are authentic. The Nexus Collective has indeed suffered a catastrophic defeat at the hands of Earth forces. Then we have all been deceived, hissed Ambassador Jolak of the Voidborn Confederation. The humans have hidden their true capabilities. Precisely, came a new voice. All eyes turned to the entrance of the chamber where a human figure stood. Dressed in a deep blue uniform that seemed to shimmer like water, Ambassador Kai Rodriguez waited calmly to be acknowledged. The human representative has no standing in this emergency session, Moros protested. Selinus gestured for Ambassador Rodriguez to approach. Under the circumstances, I believe we should hear what Earth has to say. Rodriguez walked to the center of the chamber, aware of the hostile and fearful gazes following every step. Honorable representatives, for centuries Earth has observed your civilizations from afar. We monitored your transmissions, analyzed your conflicts, and studied your technologies. When a Nexus scout ship crashed in our oceans decades ago, we learned not only of your existence but of your intentions. The Nexus acted without council authorization. Selinus interjected. Perhaps, Rodriguez acknowledged. But they are not the first to map Earth for conquest, are they? Our deep space monitoring stations have detected 17 different survey missions over the past century. We knew that eventually someone would come. In a secure command chamber 10 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Reyes and the Joint Chiefs watched the Council proceedings via quantum entanglement transmission. The fate of Earth now rested on diplomacy, not firepower. The ambassador is doing well, noted General Wei of the Aegean Alliance. But will they believe our narrative? Reyes studied the alien faces on the screen. They don't need to believe it entirely. They just need to doubt their previous assumptions enough to reconsider direct action. On Axis Prime, Rodriguez continued, what you witnessed was not Earth's full military capability, but merely our first line of defense. The Deep Sea Fleet represents one aspect of a comprehensive planetary security system developed over generations. This was, of course, an exaggeration. The Deep Sea Fleet constituted Earth's primary defense, though plans for additional systems were now being accelerated. In warfare, perceived capability could be as effective as actual strength. If Earth has possessed such technology, why have you not expanded beyond your system? Asked Jolak suspiciously. Why maintain the pretense of being a developing world? Rodriguez smiled. Would you have welcomed us if we had revealed ourselves? Or would you have seen us as a threat to be contained? We chose patience and preparation over premature disclosure. The truth was more complex. Project Poseidon had initially been purely defensive, born from the discovery of the crashed Nexus vessel and the realization that Earth was not alone, nor was it safe. The decision to remain hidden had been strategic. Earth needed time to understand the galactic landscape and develop technologies that could protect humanity from potential threats. Regardless of your reasons, Selinus said, this revelation changes Earth's status significantly. The Council must reconsider your classification and determine appropriate protocols for interaction. We have a proposal, Rodriguez replied. Earth will share certain technological innovations with the Council in exchange for recognition of our sovereignty and inclusion in the galactic diplomatic framework. This offer, carefully crafted by Earth's leadership, was designed to provide alliance opportunities without revealing the full extent of their capabilities or limitations. Meanwhile, in deep space beyond the solar system's heliopause, the remaining Nexus forces had regrouped. Commander Vrax had been relieved of duty, replaced by War Director Krev, who had no intention of accepting defeat. The humans caught us unprepared, she told her commanders. Their technology is impressive, but not invincible. Our analysis shows their vessels rely on oceanic resources. They cannot deploy in similar numbers in deep space. This assessment was partially correct. The Deep Sea Fleet's vessels were most powerful when connected to Earth's oceans, drawing energy and resources from the planetary environment that had shaped their design. Extended deep space operations would require adaptations still in development. Earth's intelligence networks, monitoring encrypted Nexus communications, detected the battle group forming near the Kuiper Belt. Admiral Rice received the report during a strategy session with the Joint Chiefs. "They're coming back," she announced. "Smaller force but more focused. Estimated arrival, 36 hours. General Okafor of the African Federation frowned. "The fleet needs more time to replenish after the initial engagement." "Then we'll need to be smarter, not just stronger," Rice replied. "Initiate Operation Undertow." As the Nexus battle group approached Earth orbit, they encountered no immediate resistance. War Director Krev, surveying the tactical display, allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. "Their vessels have retreated to the oceans," her sensor officer reported. "They appear to be defensive only." "As expected," Krev replied. "Begin the assault. Target their major coastal cities first. Force the fleet to surface under our terms." The Nexus warships moved into position, weapons charging. But as they reached optimal firing range, the space around them distorted. What appeared to be empty vacuum suddenly shimmered and revealed dozens of human vessels, perfectly camouflaged until now. "Impossible," Krev exclaimed. "How did they mask their energy signatures?" The answer came in the form of a direct hit to her flagship's propulsion system. The human vessels weren't fully materialized in normal space. They existed partially in a subspace dimension, allowing them to strike while remaining virtually invulnerable. "Quantum phase displacement," explained Dr. Sanjay Mehta, the theoretical physicist who had helped develop the technology, to a crisis session of Earth's Defense Council. "We're essentially attacking from another dimensional plane." This was Operation Undertow, a tactic that sacrificed raw firepower for strategic advantage. The phase-shifted vessels couldn't deliver the same destructive capability as the full fleet, but they could disable key systems and create confusion in the enemy ranks. The Nexus commanders, facing an enemy they couldn't effectively target, made a critical error. They concentrated their forces, creating a defensive formation that might have worked against conventional attacks. Against the phase-shifted vessels, it merely presented a more compact target. From the depths of Earth's oceans, the main deep-sea fleet began to rise once more. This time, they didn't emerge as individual vessels, but as massive composite structures. Hundreds of ships merging together to form titanic entities that dwarfed even the largest Nexus warships. "Leviathan Protocol active," reported Commander Chen from the command nexus of the newly formed megastructure. "All systems synchronized." Admiral Rice, at the heart of the composite vessel, felt the collective consciousness of hundreds of neural-linked pilots flowing through the command interface. Ascend and engage. The battle that followed was brief but spectacular. The phase-shifted vessels herded the Nexus forces into predetermined engagement zones, where the massive composite structures could bring their combined firepower to bear. War Director Krev, realizing too late the trap that had been set, attempted a desperate breakthrough to open space. Her flagship never made it. Caught between two converging human megastructures, the vessel was enveloped in a containment field that systematically disassembled it, component by component. In the aftermath, as Earth's defenders collected the remains of the Nexus fleet for study, Admiral Rice stood on the observation deck of the UESS Leviathan, gazing up at the stars now visible through the clearing clouds. "They'll be back, won't they?" asked Commander Chen, joining her. "Not just the Nexus. Others will come, now that they know what we have." Rice nodded slowly. "Yes, but not immediately. They'll be cautious now, uncertain. And that gives us time." "Time for what?" "To stop hiding," Rice said. "Project Poseidon was created to protect Earth. But perhaps the best protection isn't hiding in our oceans. It's taking our place among the stars." On Axis Prime, the Galactic Council voted unanimously to reclassify Earth as a Class 1 civilization, with all associated rights and responsibilities. Ambassador Rodriguez accepted the declaration with diplomatic grace. Making no mention of the second Nexus defeat, or the rapid expansion of Earth's shipbuilding capabilities already underway beneath the planet's oceans. As news spread throughout the galaxy of the mysterious human fleet that had emerged from Earth's oceans to defeat one of the most powerful military forces known, perceptions shifted. What had once been viewed as a backwater world of limited significance was now seen as a power to be reckoned with, a world of depths both literal and figurative, where appearances had concealed capabilities beyond imagination. And deep beneath Earth's oceans, in vast construction chambers where the boundaries between technology and biology blurred, new vessels took shape. Not merely weapons of war, but ships of exploration, designed to carry humanity beyond the solar system that had been both cradle and fortress.